afflictions eclipsed by glory. And I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. And oh, how he loves us so. Oh, how he loves us. How he loves us so.
He's jealous.
He is jealous for me. Love's like a hurricane. I am a tree bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy. When all of a sudden I am unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory, and I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me.
Loves church.
And oh, how he loves us so. Oh, how he loves us. How he loves us so. Yeah, he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves. And we are his portion, and he is our prize. Drawn to redemption by the grace in his eyes. If grace is an ocean, we're all sinking. So heaven meets earth like an unforeseen kiss, and my heart turns violently inside of my chest. And I don't have time to maintain these regrets when I think about the way that he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves. Yeah, he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves.
Hey guys, welcome to Wednesday Worship. I'm here with my friends Kyle and Alicia. We're sitting out front of their house. If you hear some traffic noise, it's just because we're out here hanging out, checking things out. So this Sunday, we continued our series with Woke, and the idea was love. So love is, as you mentioned on Sunday, just a really big topic. So how do you go about narrowing down something like that?
Well, it was difficult. Like I said in my sermon, 552 times love is mentioned, and there's just so many aspects of love that I could have gone through. But what I really, and talking with Alicia as well, we were just like, you know what, agape is such a theme that we use at Connection. It's like it just makes sense to have that be my sermon. So if there's someone that hasn't been around that long or witnessed the Agape Cafe, they have an idea of what this word agape actually means. So that's how I just like, I'm going to focus on that agape factor.
Okay. And if somebody is just watching for the very first time, like what does agape mean?
Agape is the unconditional love. It's the love that God has for us, and it's the love we have for God. So it doesn't require anything in return. It's selfless love. It's noble love. It's I want to do what I can for you, even though you don't deserve it. I'm going to show the love and pour it out on you.
Right. Well, one of the types of love that's also mentioned within the Greek is an eros, a romantic kind of love, which husband and wife, you would kind of picture that one. Mm-hmm. But within the Greek context, like all of these kind of factor into a marriage, right? because you have the phileo, the brotherly, you're like best friends.
Yep.
But you also have the romantic love and the agape. So what is the difference? Because I know that with my wife, like, there was definitely some eros intentions initially, but you kind of understand and embrace the, unconditional, I'll love you even if, I'll love you even though. Where did those changes happen in your relationship? Alicia, you have any
I'm not doing all the talking.
No, I want you to. I don't know. After we got through the first few years, I guess, of dating and...
I would say we dated for, 2 years?
2 years.
2 years before we actually got married. We were engaged for a year and a half. So at the beginning, it's always that eros. It's like there's that physical attraction. It's usually what at least starts the conversation or the relationship or the blossom from there. But then after the years of marriage, it gets to...
Then living together.
All the ups and downs you have with marriage. We're going to be going on 10 years of marriage here at the end of August, on August 28th. So thank you. I know she was like, you should put that in your service. Like, I thought I did. Apparently I did it.
It's okay.
Once you get up there and you start talking, like, it's amazing how fast your mind's moving.
Exactly. So it starts off, like I said, with that eros, and then that brotherly love also comes through years and years. It's like you love your spouse, but at the same time, it's like they're really your best friend. They know all your innermost, darkest secrets or whatever that most people don't. So that's at least my opinion. So.
Keyword. For us, it's been about being best friends first.
So we knew each other for years prior to actually dating. So we had that connection before.
So
that's why we got engaged within the first 6 months, right? First 6 months of getting together.
What's your story?
Oh yeah.
I was like, why are you looking at him?
You weren't there? So 6 months of dating, then I proposed, and then we just wanted to have that long engagement process so we can get things set in order and make sure that, this is what you really want. And
well, I know that there was a faith background, but it wasn't an active faith when you guys first came together. So where did that kind of transition? What kind of drew you back into the faith?
I didn't grow up with it, basically. I was baptized when I was a baby, but we didn't go to church, so I didn't have the faith background up until I met him. And so, honestly, he's who brought me into it. We had an 8-hour conversation one night about faith and God, and...
That was after work, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I got off work on second shift like 2 o'clock in the morning, and she was at the house, and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. It's like, I should probably go to bed.
Wow.
But yeah, so I grew up in the faith, pretty active all through high school. College, like I said, I made foolish decisions, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do me. I'm going to live my life. God kind of went to the back burner. I was just too wrapped up in making myself happy, or at least what I thought was happiness during that time. But then after we started dating or whatever, and just she was hungry for what I had grown up with or whatever, because she knew me. She knew that even though I was falling away from the church or whatever, I still had different morals and beliefs that was different than other people, that I was a good person, I guess you can say. And she was just kind of curious about that, because she had some past relationships where the guys necessarily weren't the greatest or whatever, so there was something different about me, and she was kind of curious why.
We're all curious.
That's still the case. That's still the case. I'm always positive, so.
So, you were in the church, you weren't in the church, you got together, eventually you kind of started checking some things out and having some conversations. But there's a moment in there where the love kind of changes, where this unconditional love not only invades your relationship, but also in the way that you treat other people. And I know that you guys are both pretty active in the youth ministry at Connection Christian Church.
Oh, yes.
Loving on our kids. And if you don't know, like, some of our kids come in with some pretty hard stuff. Yeah. And it takes a lot of unconditional love. some kids, quite honestly, some adults don't know what it is to be loved and to be loved well in a positive way. And so thank you guys, first of all, for helping out in our youth ministry and investing in that generation.
We love it.
Talk to us a little bit about what it means to be able to invest into their lives.
Well, we'll start with you. You've had a doozy the last couple of years, so.
Hey, a doozy.
You have.
I don't know. I love loving upon the next generation. Just being a positive and mentor and just a light in some of their darkness, especially because I didn't really have that growing up.
Small town.
Everybody knew everything, but just I don't know.
But just being able to help them where you weren't able to see that help.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Youth ministry was something that I loved when I was in high school and middle school, and that's where I felt God calling me into professionally, or as I got older. That's what I at least thought that it would be. But just like she said, being able to meet the kids where they're at, because not everyone comes from the quote-unquote perfect household, or even if on the outside it looks like they're coming from that perfect household, that everything's together, these kids deal with some issues that, frankly, grown adults struggle with, and they shouldn't have to, and they need someone there in their corner to listen to them or spend time with them. And just the fact that it's the biblical background that we get to bring into the love of God and love of Christ coming into their lives, it's transformative for a lot of them. And it's just, we meet them wherever they're at and we come alongside them and do life with them. So
if you guys are watching this video on the day that it airs on Wednesday, the youth group is actually doing a backyard Bibles and bonfires, which is more like Bibles and 9 square, Bibles and sweat to death.
Bomb pops.
Bibles and something with a B.
So that varies. So that's going to be here at the Sunderland's house.
Yep.
And so if you want more information about how to get your kids plugged into youth ministry, these are some of the guys that you can talk to. Go ask them a question in addition to Pastor Josh and some of the other youth sponsors. And so I want to encourage you to do that. And the youth group is 5th grade to 12th grade.
Yep. Middle school, high school.
Middle school, high school. So it's exciting to see what God's doing there. 3 of my kids are plugged in. And we just kind of send them. So I'm so thankful to have other people that can come alongside and mentor them and give them extra guidance as well. Believe it or not, if mom and dad say something, it's not always true. But,
that's kind of another thing why I like working with the youth, is that sometimes when we're talking to them, it's kind of like, well, my parents kind of said that. Yeah, you think? Maybe you should listen.
The light turns on, huh? We try to help the parents out. It's not just the kids.
Right. Well, I think that love being such a big idea of this idea of being woke. So we understand love. Love is a catalyst for why we do what we do. And so this is why Kyle and Alicia, they do some of what they do, and that's not just youth ministry. They're active in other aspects of the church, and for that we're thankful. But it can also maybe be manifest different in your life. And so if the love of God is present in your life, it's going to change the way that you interact with people at your workplace. It's going to change the way that you interact with people in your families. And so let's talk about that for a moment, because you both do have regular jobs, not so much 9-to-5ers, but all over the place, right? But how does your faith impact your workplace? Where does that unconditional love carry over? Kyle, you want to get us started?
I will start. Well, where I work, I'm a supervisor, so I get a lot of direct contact with all of my guys on my crew. And there's times some of them have felt comfortable enough with me to really talk about some struggles that they're going with or whatever. And I've always been one to tell them, it's like, hey, I'm willing to listen to you if you need someone to vent to. It's like, my perspective is whatever you bring into work is going to affect work. No matter how much we try to say, hey, leave home life at home and work at work, if you're really going through something that's that bad, it's going to carry over. I've had some conversations with the employees that have been just pure alcoholics and at the bottom of the barrel, and they're like, hey, I need some kind of help or whatever. Relationships issues, even faith. I don't actively go and ask people about their faith unless I have that rapport with them already. With me being a supervisor, there's always HR stuff I got to be concerned about. But if they come to me, that opens up the door, and I'm more than willing to talk about my faith, and I invite them to church. And I've had a few people come. Some of them are still coming. Some of them have moved on to other things.
Right.
But it's one of those things where I will always have the door open. I would love to say that everyone where I work is a Christian. I think it'd just make the place a lot better. But sadly, in the workplace, that's not the case. But I'll always show the love of Christ in everything I do. And a lot of the guys have even asked me, it's like, why do you handle the situation like that? If it was me, I would have got off the handle, or I would have done something like that. It's like, well, I try to treat you with respect that I would like in return. So that's at least how I handle my job with HR. Like I said, it's one of those things where you got to watch how you approach it. But once that door is open, it's free game, and I'm always an open ear to listen. So
for sure. Alicia, how do you see your faith impacting the workplace or that unconditional love?
For the most part, I work in manufacturing, and I work with a lot of older, cranky people that have been there for 30-some years, and I just try, even if they're cranky and stuff, I still try to show love.
You gotta love them anyway.
And patience, which, know me, I don't really have a lot of patience, but I try to. So.
I think that's true, especially in our workplaces where we're not surrounded by Christians. We're not in an environment that's always, uplifting to our own faith.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, many times just the opposite of that. And trying to hold on to faith while you're going through that can be hard. But just loving people and understanding that, we don't always know what their day has been like, what their week has been like, what their home life is like. And like you said, Kyle, you try to draw that line, but people, you can't not bring that stuff
Exactly.
in. So if you're dealing with a relationship issue, that's going to carry over.
No.
And that person who is just sucking at their job today, maybe because, they're not getting that love at home.
Yep. And I've had that issue before, so.
Absolutely. And so that's one of the reasons as Christians, we're to be the light of the world, and we're to come in and try to be gracious and loving and kind to other people. You just don't know what people are going through, and it's a great way to love on those who at the time probably are quite unlovable, but that's the love of Christ.
Exactly.
Right? To love us when we're unlovable.
Exactly.
We can definitely appreciate that, but it's really hard, I think, to, as you said, perpetuate. Perpetuation of that.
Love that word.
To other people. I know.
I can't say it, so don't ask me to
How do
say
you
it.
say it?
Nope.
What word is it you
Nope.
can't say?
Nope.
Come on, try it. Try it.
Anyways, moving on.
Moving on. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us for Wednesday worship. Go ahead and love on those neighbors. That's an important way for you to be the salt and the light of the earth, and we want to encourage you to do so. May the love of God be with you, and if you have trouble understanding, the very first time you want to know about this unconditional love, reach out to one of us.
Yes.
We'd love to share with you more. Take care. Have a great week.
See ya.